For the explanation of Tao, see the last video. When you understand Tao, it is easy to understand De. De is the expression that all things follow the law of Tao, and it is the concrete manifestation of Tao. In Lao Tzu's view, a sage is a ruler with De, that is, a ruler who governs the country according to objective laws, that is, the King of Kings in the Bible. 38. The De that follows Tao is shown as not conforming to the morals of the world, and is actually the real De. The De that does not follow Tao is manifested as obeying the moral of the world, but in reality there is no De. De that follows Tao is to follow nature without intentional action. De that does not follow Tao is someone who acts deliberately to interfere. Love that follows Tao, this is what someone do, but not on purpose. That follows Tao, this is what someone do, and it's deliberate. The man who obeyed Li took action but did not respond to him, so he grabbed his arm and forced others to do it. Therefore, there is no Tao and then De is used as the norm, there is no De and then love is the norm, there is no love and then is the norm, there is no and then Li is the norm. Li is the product of lack of honesty and the beginning of chaos. The above-mentioned things are nothing but flashy decorations of Tao, and it is the beginning of ignorance. Therefore, men earnestly follow the Tao, not the superficial Li. Truly follow the Tao, not the vain virtue of the Li. Therefore, we must abandon the Li and follow the Tao. 39. List the things that get the Tao. The universe obtains the Tao and becomes clear. The earth attains the Tao and is tranquil. The gods acquire the Tao and become heroic spirits. The valleys gain the Tao and become full. All things acquire the Tao and grow. The king attained the Tao and became the leader of the world. By inference. If the universe is not clear, I am afraid it will collapse. The earth is restless, I am afraid it will crash. The gods cannot keep their spirits, and I am afraid they will perish. The valleys cannot remain full, I am afraid it will dry up. All things cannot keep growing, I am afraid it will perish. So, noble is based on lowness, high is based on down, therefore, the kings called themselves Gu, Gua, and Bu Gu. Isn't this the root of lowness? Isn't it? Therefore the highest honor does not need praise and praise. So I don't want to be beautiful like a gem and hard like a rock. 40. The first-class man knows Tao and work hard to realize it. The second-class man knows Tao and is dubious. The third-class people knew Tao and laughed. If it is not laughed at, then it is not enough to be Tao. Hence the popular saying, a clear Tao does not seem to follow common sense. The Tao going forward looks like going backwards. A flat track sometimes looks curved. Great De is like a low valley. The most honorable is based on its grievances. Expand Te as if not enough, build Te quietly, like a thief. Pure nature is not bound by rules. The squarest thing has no boundaries. The biggest container does not need to be decorated. The loudest sound, but sounded silent. The biggest image, instead, has no shape. Tao is nameless and silent. Only Tao can make all things start well and end well. 41. Change back and forth, this is the movement of Tao. Soft, it is the Tao that works. All things in the world arise from being. Being comes from not being. 42. Tao produces one produces two, yin and yang, two produces three, that is, yin, yang, the combination of yin and yang. Three produces all things. Everything has yin and yang, the back is yin, the front is yang, keeping the center with qi. Yin and yang can be in harmony. What people hate most is gu, gua, bu gu, but the king used these words to refer to himself. Sometimes things are either benefited by loss or lost by gain. Others teach me this way, and I teach others the same way. Therefore, the so-called good policies that force the people to accept will not get good results. I thought that was what learning was for. 43. The weakest thing traverses the hardest thing. Invisible forces can penetrate things without gaps. So I realized the benefits of doing nothing. Teaching without words, the benefits of doing nothing. Few in the world can catch up with it. 44. Which is more important than fame or life? Which is more important than life or property? Which is more harmful than gain or loss? If you are keen on fame and fortune, you must pay more. Having too much wealth is bound to lead to even greater losses. Therefore, if you know how to be satisfied, you will not be insulted. Know how to stop at the right time, and you will not be in danger. This is how you can maintain long-term peace. 45. The most perfect thing seems to be incomplete, but its function never fails. The fullest thing seems to be empty, but its functions are never exhausted. The most upright thing seems to be bent, the most nimble things seem clumsy. The real winner is like a surrender instead. Get moving and you can beat the cold, inner peace can beat the heat. Peace and inaction can rule the world. 46. Governing the world is in line with the Tao, and the horses can be retired to farmers to use for farming. Governing the world is not in line with the Tao, the battle is on the outskirts of the city, and the horses give birth on the battlefield. There is no sin greater than desire. There is no disaster greater than discontent. There is no misfortune greater than greed. He who knows where he should be satisfied will always be satisfied. 47. Without going out, one can know the affairs of the world. Without looking out the window, you can understand the natural laws of space. The farther he ran out, the less truth he knew. Therefore, the sage can know the affairs of the world without going out. He doesn't need to see something to name it. He can achieve something by doing nothing. 48. People who learn can increase their knowledge every day, and their desires continue to increase. Those who follow the Tao have less knowledge and less desire every day. Reduce and reduce again, and finally reach inaction. In action, nothing is unsuccessful. If the king wants to gain the world, he must adapt to nature and not force troubles. When the king cannot conform to nature and force troubles, it is not enough to take over the world. 49. Sages are often selfless, and take the consideration of the people as their own. For kind people, I treat them kindly, for unkind people, I also treat them kindly, so that we can get kindness, and everyone will be kind. For those who are trustworthy, I trust him. For those who are not trustworthy, I also trust him. So I can be trusted, everyone keeps their word. The governance of the sages restrains their own desires, and makes the minds of the world return to simplicity. The people are all focused on their own lives. Sages are as tolerant as children. 50. Men are born out of the world, and finally die in the earth. 3 out of 10 people live long, 3 out of 10 people live short. Some people could have lived longer, but they died by themselves, which also accounted for 3/10. Why is this so? Because what they desire to survive is too much. It is said that people who are good at saving their lives, walking on land, he will not meet rhinos and tigers. He won't be harmed in war either. Rhinos cannot kill him with their horns, tigers cannot claw him, and enemies cannot slash him with knives. Why is this so? Because he does not enter the land of death. 51. Tao gives birth to all things, and Te nurtures all things. The content of all things makes them themselves, and the shapes make them their own characteristics. Therefore, all things respect the Tao and cherish virtue. The Tao is revered, and is prized, not because of its title, but usually by nature. Therefore, the Tao grows all things, nurtures all things, makes all things grow and develop, mature and bear fruit, and make them nurtured and protected. To grow all things and not to be their own. To nurture all things without relying on merit. To guide all things and not to dominate, this is a great 52. All things have a beginning, and this beginning is the source of all things. Only by understanding the root of things can we understand specific things. knowing specific things, but also knowing the root of things. That way you won't be in danger. According to this principle, even if the road is blocked and the door is closed, even if there is no source of information, it will not be impossible to make a decision. If the understanding of the outside world is smooth, there are too many problems to deal with, and it will not be difficult. Being able to see specific things can be called smart. Being able to grasp the root of things can be called strong. Using the above principles, finally achieve the purpose of understanding. Do not bring misfortune to yourself. This can be called inherit all properties. 53. Let me focus on what I know about the Tao, follow the Tao, and be wary of other thoughts. The great Tao does not appear, and people tend to slack off and follow the path that can be seen. Almost no one manages the government, farmland is abandoned, and warehouses are very empty. And the king still wears splendid clothes, wears a sharp sword, eats too much food, and owns a lot of wealth. This is the leader of the robbers. This is not Tao. 54. Those who are good at planting trees will not uplift the saplings. Those who are good at holding the items will not fall off. His descendants are prosperous. Taking Tao as a guide to improve self-cultivation is true. Taking Tao as a guide to govern the family is more than enough. Taking the Tao as a guide and getting along with the villagers will last a long time. Take the Tao as a guide to govern the state and will be prosperous. Taking Tao as a guide to govern the world is universal. Observe yourself from yourself, observe the whole family from the whole family, observe the township from a township, observe the whole country from the whole country, and look at the whole world from the whole world. How can I know the world? In this way. 55. A person with is like a newborn baby. No poisonous worms sting him, no beasts hurt him, and no ferocious birds strike him. His muscles were weak, but his fists were firm. Although he didn't know sex, his little bird was raised up because of the energy. He cried all day, but his voice was not hoarse because of his gentleness. The harmony of yin and yang is called normal. Knowing the way to normal is called smart. Excessive pursuit of life enjoyment is a bad omen. The inner desire is particularly big, called to be strong. When things are too strong, they will become old. This is not in line with the Tao. Things that do not follow the Tao will die quickly. 56. The wise do not speak easily, and those who spread rumors everywhere are not wise. Act. Block the hole of desire, close the door of desire. Reconcile the light of one's own virtues to not be bright. Lower yourself to the same place as the dust. Not close for profit, not alienated by profit, do not help for profit, do not harm for profit, not respect for profit, do not despise for profit, so it is respected by the world. 57. Be sure to govern the country according to common sense, to employ soldiers in a cunning way. But to win the hearts and minds of the people of the world, non-intervention must be achieved. How do I know this is the case? The more taboos of the state, the poorer the common people are. The more sharp weapons the people have, the more chaos the country falls. The more clever people are, the more clever things are. The stricter the law, the more the thieves increased. So the sage said, I do nothing, and the people cultivate themselves. If I am quiet, the people will naturally be rich. If I have no desires, the people will naturally be simple. 58. When the country is governed prudently, the people are honest and loyal. Governing the country is fair and clear, and the country is powerful to the outside world. O misfortune, happiness is hidden in it. Happiness, disaster is hidden in it. Who can know whether it is disaster or happiness? They do not have clear standards. The normal suddenly turned into the strange, good suddenly turned into evil. People have been confused for a long time. Therefore, The sage is upright and does not harm others, compatible with others without harming them, have the right proposition and not carry it out indiscriminately, seeing the future clearly is not against the norm. 59. Governance is also good. It is good to worship God and serve God. Nothing is more important than frugality. If the king does things frugally, he can make himself and the people cooperate very closely. This can be called double-da. If king has such a double-da, then there will be no failures and success in doing things. All things are successful and successful, that is, there is no end to success. Then, he will indeed have a country. With the foundation of this country, it can last long. This is the great Tao that is deeply rooted and firmly rooted and survived for a long time. 60. Governing a big country is like frying a small fish. Flip less. Using Tao to govern a country, ghosts can play a role. It's not that ghosts don't work, it's that ghosts can't hurt men. Not only the role of ghosts can hurt men, but sage won't hurt men either. Neither ghosts nor sage hurt men, so men can enjoy disfavor. 61. A big country is like the lower reaches of a river, in the female position, where the world meets. The female is always quieter than the male. Because the female lord is quiet and inactive, it is suitable to stay in the lower position. Big countries treat small countries with humility, so they can gather small countries. A small country humbles itself towards a big country because it seeks protection from the big country. Therefore, modesty is to annex the power of a small country. Therefore, modesty is to use the power of a big country. So a big country just wants to annex a small country to strengthen itself, and a small country just wants to take refuge in a big country to protect itself. If both big countries and small countries can fulfill their wishes, then as a big country, it should be especially humble. 62. Tao is where all things come together. A good way for those who walk in the way. It is also the guarantee of protection for those who are not good at acting according to the Tao. Beautiful words can deceive others and profit, and noble deeds can win praise and awards. So how can you despise those who fail to act according to the Tao? Therefore, to establish a king, set up high officials, and give high salaries, it is better to suggest this the Tao who does not give up anyone to them. Since ancient times, people have regarded this Tao as such a precious thing. Isn't it because there is a request for a reward, and a sin can be forgiven? So the man cherishes this Tao so much. 63. Do something with an attitude of inaction. It seemed that nothing was done, but everything was done. The real good taste is the original taste. Big is born from small, more arises from less. Respond to hatred with T's great compassion. Dealing with problems starts with the easy and achieving greatness starts with the small. Difficult things in the world must start from simple places. The great things in the world must start from the small parts. Therefore, the sage never covets great achievements, so he can achieve great things. Those promises made easily must rarely be fulfilled. Take things too easy and you are bound to suffer a lot. Therefore, the wise sage always values difficulties, so at last there is no difficulty. 64. It is easy to maintain when the situation is stable. It is easy to conspire when there is no sign of events. Things break easily when they are fragile. Things are easy to disappear when they are small. Do something to get it right before it happens. To govern a country, prepare for disasters before they occur. Hug big trees growing from tiny buds. The 9-story high platform is built from every pile of dirt. The height of 100 ren starts from the foot. Those who make a difference will fail, and those who are persistent will suffer damage. So the sage does not do anything so he will not suffer failure, nor does he cling to anything so he does not suffer damage. When men do things, they always fail when they are about to succeed. So when things are about to be completed, be as cautious as you were at the beginning. There is nothing that cannot be done. Therefore, the sage pursues what man does not pursue, not rare and hard to get goods, learn what others do not learn, remedy for the mistakes that are often made by all. In this way, it follows the natural nature of all things without interfering. 65. It is said, a king who does according to the Tao does not think that he is better than the people, but thinks that he is duller than the people. The reason why the people are difficult to manage is because the king thinks he is better than the people. Therefore, if the king thinks that he is better than the people, and tries to use his wisdom to govern the country, it will cause harm to the country. The king does not put himself in a position of being superior to the people, and does not use wisdom to manage the country, and will benefit the country. Knowing the difference between the two methods is a measure. Knowing this standard is called great De. Great De is deep and far, contrary to the usual understanding of things, and thus achieves good management of the world. 66. So the sea can be the place where hundreds of rivers flow. It is because it is good at being in a low place, so can be the king of many rivers. Therefore, if the sage wants to lead the people, he must be humble to the people. To lead the people, you must put yourself behind them. Therefore, although the sage is above the people do not feel the burden. Before the people, and the people do not feel victimized. People are happy to embrace it without getting bored. Because he does not compete with the people, no one in the world can compete with him. 67. Even if the state is small, with few people, if the king does not easily use tools that consume a lot of people and materials, so the men will value life and not escape. Although the king has a boat, he does not drive the people, pulls the boat out. Although they have weapons, they do not easily use the people to go to war. Manage people to return to production, make them enjoy good food, wear beautiful clothes, enjoy the joy of life, and make their homes more secure. In this way, even if people in the neighboring country can see it, and the sound of chickens and dogs can be heard, the men will not move to neighboring countries until they die. 68. Believable words are not gorgeous, and gorgeous words are not believable. Experts will not be knowledgeable, and knowledgeable will not be experts. Those who are good at Tao speak concisely, but those who chatter are not good at Tao. Sage has no excess property. He gave what he had to others, and he had more. So the Tao of universe is to help without harming, and the Tao of people is to act rather than fight. 69. People all over the world say that Tao is great, not like anything concrete. Just because it's great, it's not like anything concrete. If it is like any concrete thing, then it is also very small. I have 3 secrets and stick to them. The first is called love. The second is called frugality. The third is not daring to be in front of the people in the world. Be brave because of love. Because of thrift, so can be generous. Dare not to take the lead in the world, so he can become the head of all things. Now abandoning love and pursuing bravery. Abandoning frugality and pursuing generosity. Abandoning concessions and striving for the first, the result is death. Love, used to fight, can win, and used to defend can strengthen. Whoever universe wants to help, protect him with love. 70. A general who is good at fighting does not show his bravery. Those who are good at defeating the enemy are not easily provoked. Those who are good at defeating the enemy do not conflict directly with the enemy. A man who is good at employing people is humble to others. This is the virtue of not competing with others. This is the ability to be good at employing people. This is in line with the Tao of the universe. 71. Those who are good at war once said, I dare not attack first, but defend. Don't dare to take a step forward, but rather take a foot back and wait for work. In this way there is no cue for the march. Did not roll up his sleeves, high morale look. Weapons in hand are not neat. You are used to hide combat intent, so that you are invincible. There is no greater catastrophe than despising the enemy, who nearly lost my 3 secrets, see chapter 69. So when the strength of the 2 armies is similar, the side that does not care about life and death can win. 72. My words are easy to understand and easy to implement. But no one in the world can understand, no one can act. My words have source, and what I say will be verified. Just because people don't understand this, they don't understand me. There are very few men who can understand me, so the men who can do it according to my Tao are even rarer, so the sage is simple in appearance and beautiful in heart. 73. Knowing what you still don't know is very smart. Not knowing that you are ignorant is bad. So the sage has no faults because he sees faults as faults. So, he has no flaws. 74. When the people are not afraid of the coercion of the ruler, then the terrible disaster will come. Do not persecute the people so that they cannot live in peace, don't block people's way of earning a living. Only by not oppressing the people will the people not hate the ruler. Therefore, the sage is self-aware and does not express himself. He has self-love without feeling noble. So drop the latter and keep the former. 75. Those who dare to show strength are easy to die, and those who are good at showing weakness can survive. Both are brave, some gain, some suffer. This is the law of nature, but who knows why? The law of the universe is, not to fight, but to win, say nothing, and all things respond, not summoned, but the crowd came, so take it easy to plan big things. The scope of the universe is vast and boundless. Although it is broad, it does not miss it. 76. People are not afraid of death, why use death to scare them? If the people really fear death, we will arrest and kill those who do wrong. Who dares to do evil? When the people are always bound to fear death, there is a full-time punisher, in the name of Tao. If the king replaces it, he is killing for the punisher. It is rare to kill for punchers without hurting themselves. 77. The people are starving because the rulers are demanding too much, so the people are starving. It is difficult for the people to govern, because the rulers have misbehaved, so it is difficult for the people to govern. The reason why the people despise life is because the rulers demand too much, so the people feel that death is nothing. So a king who does not rule for the sake of living a luxurious life is better than a king who rules for living a luxurious life. 78. When a person is alive, his body is soft, but when he dies, his body becomes rigid. Grass is soft when it grows, and becomes dry and withered when it dies. So strength belongs to death, and weakness belongs to growth. Therefore, if you use your force to be strong, you will be destroyed. Trees are cut down when they get too big. Those who are strong are always in the lower position, and those who are weak are always in the upper position. 79. Isn't the law of the universe like drawing a bow? When the string is pulled up, push it down a little. When it's low, lift it up a bit. When it's too full, just relax it a bit. If it's not enough, add some more. The law of the universe is to reduce surplus and supply shortage. But the law of society is not like this. We should reduce those who lack and give to those who have excess. Who can dedicate the surplus to the world? Isn't it someone who obeys Tao? So the sage does something but does not own its fruit, success but not possessing its achievements, without desire like this, is truly virtuous. 80. There is nothing in the world that is weaker than water, and nothing can surpass water in the ability to defeat the tough. The weak is better than the strong, the soft is better than the tough. No one in the world does not know it, but no one can do it. So the sage said this: to bear the grievances of the whole state can become the king of the state. To bear the calamity of the whole state can become the king of the state. The positive words seem to be the opposite. 81. Once the big hatred is resolved, there will definitely be some small hatred left behind. How can it be a good solution? The sage only specifies the principles for solving hatred, without blaming others. So the sages only specify the principle of resolving grievances. A ruler without debt is just setting rules everywhere. Tao is fair, there is no preference, and rules are given to those who are good at it.